Hey, how's it going? How you doing? Playing my Martin 0015 today. Can't get enough of this thing. Can't get enough of this guitar. It's been a fun week. It's been an interesting week. How are you? You okay? We got a fun, beautiful cold spell here in Nashville, and it finally feels like winter. You know, I'm wearing a scarf and gloves, and it just feels right. You know, it just didn't feel right when it's all warm and you're kind of in a weird sweatshirt and you're kind of hot. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Played a really so as the weather was getting sort of strange. As Yeah, as the weather was getting weird, I had a gig. So this was last Tuesday night, and like all the schools were closing, and everyone's getting ready, and I'm getting ready for a gig. You know, everyone's like running the store and getting milk. I don't know why everybody gets milk. What are you stuck in a snowstorm? And you're just chugging milk. Like, how does that help? But everyone's getting bread and milk, and I'm tuning up my guitar. I'm getting ready for a little gig, and the show must go on. So it did. And Bowery Vault, those are tough ladies. They don't close for shit. So we had I got asked last minute to play with Camden West and Zach Mattos, both wonderful musicians and dear friends. I was planning on going to that gig anyway, but somebody dropped out last minute and had to cancel. Maybe they were scared of the weather. Who knows? But I got asked to do it, so it was really fun. And I want to tell you about the gig, but I kind of want to skip to the next morning. So the weather was like, it was extra peculiar. People were kind of freaking out because of how rainy and wet and cold it was, and wet and cold mix. You get something called ice, and ice is very slippery. So, and people don't like that. People don't like driving on slippery, wet ice. Um, So when we woke up in the morning on Wednesday, everything was covered in this beautiful ice. All the trees, every blade of grass was just cocooned in beautiful, clear, frozen ice. And I was supposed to meet, or I thought I was supposed to meet a friend for coffee at 11 o'clock, but turns out we messed up the dates, and she meant Thursday. So we ended up having coffee the next day. But I was out. I was out of the house. I defrosted the car and broke all the ice, etc. And I went over to Fort Negley, which I've been telling you about. It's been my favorite little spot. Just go over to Fort Negley, and it was quiet. There was one man running a couple of dogs, but otherwise it was empty, and all the bushes and the trees were covered in ice. The trees were covered in ice, and they're bare branches because the winter, there's no leaves, and it was covered in birds, and the birds were on the frozen icy branches, and you could just hear the sound that you could imagine the sound that of a whole flock of birds on an icy it sounded like silver foil or something, all that crackling. It was amazing. And the sun was out briefly, and that's when I was walking around the fort, and the grass there was just covered in ice, really pretty. And you notice all the plants more. They're dressed up. It's like all the little shrubs and bushes and plants. It's like they're all wearing makeup. Uh, so extra pretty, and I was just feeling extra adventurous, and I was looking all around, and I was finding fossil after fossil after fossil. And I took a bunch of photos and bugged my buddy Blundstone Bitch on Instagram, Alexandra, and thankfully she likes being bothered because she just loves this shit and she knows so much about it. So I sent her a bunch of photos, and I was like, "Is this anything?" Turns out it was a piece of coral. And then I'm gonna give, and then more like clumps of stuff, and that's from a coral reef, coral reef, and a few other things. And then I showed her a picture and I was like, just for context, this is the hill, and that's downtown Nashville, and they're close. They're in the same photo. You're in this grassy hill with this old fort, this old Civil War fort on top of it. Say that fast. And just like, because I keep sending her photos from this place, so I was like, just so you know, like, this is downtown Nashville. So here's what she sends me back. She says, Tennessee fossils. This is definitely a coral. My best guess is it's this guy. And then she sent me a photo. I don't know where she gets these photos. It's amazing. And then she sent me the right. These are cross sections of barcopods, probably. Rhyconilida. Barcopods resemble modern clams, but are in a totally different evolutionary branch, but the dominant reefs from this time period. Then she's like, I checked the dates on these fossils and this outcrop, and this outcrop, and we're definitely dealing with Ordovician, 480 to 445 million years old. Really great example of extinct reef fossils. Nashville was covered in a shallow sea and located on the equator around that time. So really beautiful limestones and marine fossils. Good finds. And then I asked her to come on the podcast, and she said she would love to. So hopefully we'll have her on, and she'll educate us over here. Hey, buddy. Ellie just walked in. So, yeah, just super, super stoked about that. And, when hold on, let's see. The taxonomic order Rhyconilida is one of the two main groups of living articulate barcopods, the other being the order Turbitula. They are recognized by their strongly ribbed wedge-shaped or nut-like shells, and they are very short hinge line. Give me a sec. Ellie opened the door. I'm just going to close it real quick. Now we're back. So, yeah, just super, super cool. There's this, God, I want to read all about this stuff. But, I also, and Kate and I talk about this. We almost have this back and forth argument. She's like, sometimes I just like the mystery, and I don't need to know everything because I'm not going to know anything anyway. So I kind of just want to enjoy the mystery of not knowing. And I like following more of the details down, but really I'm fooling myself because I hit a dead end pretty damn fast. Like, unless I'm going to devote my life to this, I can't even pronounce those words. This shit is hard. It takes devotion and passion and focus that I don't really have. So, there's something also to just reveling in the mystery and looking at a fossil and going, this shit is old. But again, it's so fun asking Alexandra, like, how old is this? And she's like, yeah, it's like almost 500 million years old. I'm like, cool, got it. So super, super special. Nashville was an old sea. It'd be cool is if we have Alexandra on, and then I get Deerwolf on, who's the archaeologist, and have him talk about the last 12 to 20,000 years here in Nashville, and get those. And then it'd be fun to get another more recent historian and learn about like the Civil War times and stuff here, and and then get an old guy on. He could tell us about what it was like in the 40s, So learn a little bit about it. And there's something fun to just localize history. You have a real reference. It's right in front of you. And it just means a little bit more to me. Or at least it's just easier to grasp and, imagine things. But yeah, so I've been writing a lot, as always. By the way, so it's off the internet now, but my song by accident got released, but like on the wrong date. So we are just trash at the music industry. But it will come out. I think we're looking at February 23rd. Let's see, February. And this is for real. February 24th. So the 23rd at night. Midnight, probably Central Time. So like 11 p.m. Eastern Standard in New York, and a bit later, somewhere in the middle of the night if you're in LA. But yeah, wherever you are, I know we have a listener who's in Colombia. We have a listener who's in Argentina, and I don't know those time zones. But it'll be out Friday. Girl from Nova, I'm really, really excited about it. My friend messaged me, and she's like, "Did you put out a new song?" And I just totally missed it. And I was like, you found it. Just keep it a secret. It fell out of it fell out by mistake. So, by the way, before I move on, the documentary, the Wallflowers documentary, is doing so well. It's like 400 views. I can't believe 400 people watched that. So I really appreciate it. And I'm going to try to do more fun stuff on YouTube. What I'm going to probably start doing is I'm just going to put this podcast on YouTube as well, just the audio, and like whoever wants to, listen to it, great. I don't think I don't think it'll grow my YouTube at all, but I think it'd be nice. And then I'm also going to start posting full shows. Actually, by the time you hear this, there will be a full acoustic show. The show I'm about to tell you about, you can go and watch it. And hopefully, as I do this, there'll be a bunch that are just like standard iPhone. But as I keep doing it, I just want to post full shows and not be precious about it. And anyone who's curious could go watch them. Again, I don't think these are smart career moves. They're not like smart. That's not how to like get people. If I was smart, I'd be like covering everybody and making the covers all pretty and doing whatever. I don't even care. But it is fun. And I'm going to do what I want to do, and it'd be a fun way to share these gigs. Almost like you hear about a weird gig that was interesting. It's like, oh, maybe I'll go check it out. So I'm gonna put So the full Bowery Vault acoustic show is on YouTube now. And go check it out. You might enjoy it. It's I just played like 6 songs. It's not terribly long. It's like a half hour. And then I've got another one queued up. I'm gonna post my last Basement full band gig as well next week. So ideally once a week I post the podcast, and then once a week I post full show here in Nashville, whether it's around or whatever. But just to share it, share the experience a little bit. Very low production. I want to start using better. I could get better audio pretty easily, and I'm going to start doing that eventually. But the audio is fine now. It's stereo and waves and all that. But that'll be fun. So subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't, and go check it out. Before I tell you about this gig here, I gotta read you this. I just have to. So this is Leonard Cohen, big surprise, and this is a note. It's called A Note to the Chinese Reader, and there's something very literal, but also very, very mystical about it, and very cute, and to me articulates kind of what I love about poetry, or more importantly, how I like consuming poetry, how I think you could read poetry in a way that feels somewhat beneficial to you. So this is and it's in Book of Longing. It's towards the end. So, he felt compelled to include this. This is from Los Angeles, February 27, 2000. Dear reader, thank you for coming to this book. It is an honor and a surprise to have the frenzied thoughts of my youth expressed in Chinese characters. I sincerely appreciate the efforts of the translator and the publishers in bringing this curious work to your attention. I hope you will find it useful or amusing. When I was young, my friends and I read and admired the old Chinese poets. Our ideas of love and friendship, of wine and distance, of poetry itself were much affected by those ancient songs. Much later, during the years when I practiced as a Zen monk under the guidance of my teacher, Jashu Roshi, the thrilling sermons of Lin Chi Rinzai were studied every day. So you can understand, dear reader, how privileged I feel to be able to graze, even for a moment, and with such meager credentials, on the outskirts of your tradition. This is a difficult book, even in English, if it is taken too seriously. May I suggest that you skip over the parts you don't like? Dip into it here and there. Perhaps there will be a passage or even a page that resonates with your curiosity. After a while, if you are sufficiently bored or unemployed, You may want to read it from cover to cover. In any case, I thank you for your interest in this odd collection of jazz riffs, pop art jokes, religious kitsch, and muffled prayer. An interest which indicates to my thinking a rather reckless though very touching generosity on your part. Beautiful Losers was written outside, on a table set among the rocks, weeds, and daisies, behind my house on Hydra, an island in the Aegean Sea. That was in Greece. I lived there many years ago. It was a blazing hot summer. I never covered my head. What you have in your hands is more of a sunstroke than a book. Dear reader, please forgive me if I have wasted your time. Leonard Cohen. So yeah, I mean, to me, obviously, they demonstrate it's just sincerely his great humility, and but also I think the way you should approach poetry and maybe even song and maybe this podcast or maybe anything really. Sort of skip over things and find what works for you in the moment, and then if you're sufficiently bored, you consume the whole thing. Songs are different because songs can operate, on a background level. Poetry doesn't really operate that way. Although sometimes I'll have like Allen Ginsberg or Bukowski, reading their poems. I'll just have it on in the background. It makes me feel good. But it's obviously very, very different. It's a little bit intense to just have someone speaking naked in the background. But yeah, I found that amusing, and I thought you'd appreciate it. And that book is just magnificent. All right, cheers. So let's get on with it. Let's do. I want to tell you about this Bowery gig, and then I want to sing you a song. So it was Tuesday night, and it was snowy, it was icy, it was cold. We weren't sure what the weather was going to do. So I headed out there, and I showed up, and it was just me, Camden, and Zach. And it was us. Like, all right, we'll play for each other. And Zach's wife, Emily. And then the bartender, Stephanie Clark Harris, and the musician on sound, Kenny Schick. And then I was like, all right, well, it's just us. And I was like, I'll go first because I got thrown onto this gig last minute, and I wanted to go first. So I did, and, we do sound check for a few minutes, and Bowery Vault's real classy. There's like a curtain. It's really cute, and they got the smoke machine going, create the ambiance, and Kenny's messing with the lighting. And so I go and I get ready, and then they open the curtain, and, like, there's a bunch of people there. Like, in just that 5 minutes, a bunch of people had come in. And then Kate showed up, and that was cute. She surprised me. She was at the gym, and I didn't know she'd be there, so that was cute. So I kind of just got into it. I did one of the songs I ever played, one of the first songs I ever played on this here podcast. I did Cold Wind, which is like either the first or second episode. Cold Wind, and that was really fun. I've never opened with that song. It was just cute, and I just like kind of leaned into it's an icy, snowy night, and no one's here, but these incredible individuals showed up, and my buddy Aaron came, and a bunch more people just started showing up. It was really cool. So yeah, I mean, I just very much enjoyed myself. I was a little bit like genuinely just like nervous, just playing in front of a room of like people I know. There's a real relief in strangers. When I think about who this podcast is for, I feel like it's for, strangers, people I've met along the way that have been following my work. And, you're a lot more vulnerable to people that you know in your life. It's a little bit scarier, and you almost feel sheepish or shy about performing. You feel like, no matter the mirage, no matter the veneer, no matter how good the work is, they just see right through you. It's almost like they've, if you ever think about, like, if you have a sibling, an older sibling, and you're like, you've changed my diaper. Like, no matter what I do here, I'll always be someone who you've changed their diaper. That's sort of how I feel. Although my friends, most of my friends have never changed my diaper, which is good. And I think we're going to keep it, I think we'll keep it that way, I think. I want to sing you a song. Oh, but so the Bowery gig, it just went great. It was fun. I had a good time. You could watch it now. It's on YouTube. Check it out. I just threw up a tripod, and I'm kind of pleased with how it came out. I watched a little bit back just to make sure that the audio and color made sense and that the whole thing worked. And I was actually, I didn't hate it. So I think it's cute, And I said that during the gig. I was like, this is cute. I said that a lot, actually. But I told a little story, and someone was like, tell a story. And so I told a story. And yeah, it was just fun, and I enjoyed myself. I did Cold Wind. I did Weep Like a Willow, What a Drag, Annie 12th Street, and then this here song. I did a few. Yeah, I did this song. This one's called Tuesday Under Starlight. Have you been having strange dreams? Have you been playing with yourself? Have you got any idea what any of it means? And have you been calling 1-800, I need some help? Honey, I get it, you're so tired all the time, and everything seems to fall between the lines. You've been feeling empty, and you've been batting lefty, and then you're wondering why you're striking out. You can sleep through the afternoon, I don't really care, for I'm not one to tell you what to do. Just send yourself some flowers and put in the hours that it takes to get from me to you. And you're a heartbreaker, I've come to realize, and I ain't got the voice to harmonize with you. I've been aiming this gun at the wall all afternoon, and there's a message in my pocket, I almost forgot it there, but I'm supposed to meet you half hour past midnight to stay under the starlight. Do 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 do. All right. Man, I love playing that song. Tuesday Under Starlight. That's going to be on 2 albums. I've recorded it twice. It's going to be on a little album, an acoustic cello version of it. It's going to actually, all right, right before the end of the podcast in a few minutes, I'm going to play you a recording. But let me get back to that. Let me finish my thought. It's going to be on 2 albums. It's going to be on Bedroom Songs, which will be acoustic cello version to cassette tape. And then we're going to have a really cool full band 12-string guitar version on a record called Flying Over Hollywood. And that one's cool. The drums are going to come in at the end. Boom, doo, 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 doo. And then that's just going to like go on forever in like the best way. I'm really excited. I don't know why. But I like this song. It's kind of a non-linear chorusless little diatribe, and it's fun. So when I was recording Bedroom Songs a few years back, I was doing it to cassette tape with my friend Keith Loria, and I started this song and I was like, have you been having straight? And I just like went out of tune or something, and I burst out laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing for like a while. I couldn't contain my laughter, and it was just so. And it's recorded to tape. So I'm not sure if we'll include that on the record. Maybe I'll put it as like a little 30-second interlude track or something. That might be fun. But I'm gonna try to dig it out and put it at the end of this episode in a few minutes. Yeah. You know, it's it's songs are very, very strange, and they're strange how they grow and live with you. And I'm pretty grateful because of, let's say I was an author and I wrote books. There's something about a book, it's such a tedious and almost grotesque, gigantic process that once you're done with it, you're sort of done. You really put everything you have. It could take years, and then you're done with it. You put it out, it's gone, and you're done. You don't like go and read your own book again. I don't imagine many authors do that. Unless maybe they're very disciplined and want to keep improving the craft, or they're wildly narcissistic. Lord knows which way I would lean. But there's something cool about a song. You write it, and that's really the most important time. Maybe you need the song. It's so urgent that your feeling is so it weighs so much that a song comes out of it. And it's so important and urgent. And you get a song, and then maybe you sing the song again, and maybe you live a little bit and you sing the song again, and you live a little bit more, and you really grow with the song, and the song changes and evolves, and the lines mean different things. And anything that I ever sing about or write about, there's very little to do with the literal meaning. The literal meaning is a feeling, but it's rarely like you could rarely guess what it's making me feel, and I could rarely guess what it makes you feel. If you're kind enough and you do open yourself to it, and it, maybe you like it and it means something to you, I still could never guess what that means. It'll conjure up a feeling or a memory that is beyond me, and certainly beyond the literal translation of the words. So it's pretty strange, and I didn't pick the worst profession, certainly not the best, but there are dumber things you could do with your thoughts and feelings, like write a book. I don't know how loud it's been, but Kate's been cooking up a storm. We're doing stuffed cabbage tonight, and Carl is coming over. I'm just like, hey, you want to? This is gonna be pretty weird, but do you want to come over and have some stuffed cabbage? He's lucky I didn't say the Yiddish word, which is chalupches. Yeah, oh God, is there any more Jewy word? What does Yiddish sound like? Chalupches. That's Yiddish. Cool, got it. But these are chalupches, and I'm really excited. Stuffed cabbage, ground beef, rice, and yeah. So there we have it. I'm going to try to dig up this Tuesday Under Starlight little false start. And so if it's here, I found it. If not, then it's gone forever. And then that means the whole album's gone forever. And that album will never come out. But anyway, lots of love. Subscribe to the YouTube. And tell a friend if you think there's someone that might enjoy what we're doing here. Podcast has been growing, and I just appreciate everybody that's been listening. And the numbers were never important to me. And in some places they are, but certainly not with this podcast. It's just fun. It's a fun thing that we get to do, and I'm grateful for you. And I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful week, and read something fun, Book of Longing by Leonard Cohen. God damn it, I've mentioned it so much. Just go buy it. Go read it. It's like $5. I'll send you one, all right? If you want me to send you one, I'll send you one. All right, new music, Rustin Kelly, The Weakness. I told you about that a few weeks ago, but check it out. There's just go listen to it again. It's beautiful. Daryl Ron, Angels Bowling, new song by my buddy Daryl Ron, Angels Bowling. Go check it out. All right, God love you. Have a wonderful week. Thank you. Have you? Okay. I just got a funny text. Just said that your shit's in your